Hi guys, I'm Leo and Chantel is here, and we're getting some popcorn. Where'd the popcorn go? Oh, there it is. Let me see if I can show it.
First batch of popcorn. We're gonna make enough for everybody.
Right. Well, anyway, this is an introduction to a video of a guy, Vladislav, with TOTV. It's a little news station in the south of Moscow, and he interviewed us and did probably one of the best jobs of interviewing. He asked straightforward questions, very well informed. We believe that he brought out a lot of nuance and a lot of information that makes this video worth watching. What do you think? What do you think about the video and everything, honey?
Well, it seems like he had interviewed actually Daniel, and when it comes down to it, everybody thinks that the Daniel's an open, honest kind of guy, but I said, well, we have the proof to prove everything that we say and talk about. What about Daniel? Did you ask him? Can you ask him? Did you ask him about his business? What kind of business does he have? What does he do? Where did our money go? Does anybody ever ask this guy these questions? And he said, well, tune in to find out.
Yeah, you'll find out what he said. All right, it's worth watching. Okay, guys, enjoy the video.
Your file, all right?
Perfect. Okay, so let's go.
Yes. When the
I want to
first
tell you
time?
something. I don't believe a person can be objective 100% because many times they're looking for something. And so they will ask questions to try to find that. So that's okay with me. If you have some kind of agenda, just let us know what it is, and then we
Yeah.
can help. Okay.
Okay. I just want to
Let's
know
go.
when
Okay.
the first time or where did you meet Daniel? How it was? Your first meeting.
Okay, my first meeting was facilitated by his father, Vitaly Vlasenko, Kirillevich Vlasenko. He had invited us to his farm, and we told him we had a problem converting our money into rubles. And he said that his son had a business, and because his business handled money and handled some kind, maybe real estate or whatever it handled, he had the resources to be able to convert our money. And we thought, oh, what a great idea. Boy, what good fortune we're in. But anyway, he told me about his son. So then what I did is I contacted him on WhatsApp. I tried to call, and then he said, no, I can't speak English well enough, just text. So I texted him on WhatsApp, told him what I needed, and then he said he was going to come down to the farm in Zendakovo, and he was going to talk to me then. And so it was then when we actually first met. It would have been, I think I contacted him on the 26th. On the 27th, he said he was going to come to the farm. I don't know exactly. I have this all documented, and I have everything I'm saying completely documented with timestamps. So it's just leading up to the time that we actually handed him our money on the 30th of December, 2023.
Tell me, please, how can you believe the person that you know not such a long time? That it's not like your brother, it's not like a so close person to you. How can you believe them? The huge sum of money, like 5 millions.
Okay, this is why. First of all, when we left America, we were very disoriented. Okay. And we'd gone through a lot of traumatic experiences in America trying to get ready to go. And when we came here, we were told by Svetlana Rose, with the American expat, we were told that there was a man that was suggested by somebody she worked with in the Duma. It turned out to be Deputy Dmitry Vadimich Kuznetsov. He had a friend down in Domodedovo who had a farm. So, and Svetlana told us that he was a minister, a Baptist minister of a church, And he was not only that, he was a church leader in Russia. So he was part of a larger organization. So basically, what she said was largely true, but it wasn't what we thought. It was actually, he was part of, let's just say this. What is your question? Because I don't want to go too far ahead.
Yeah. Why do you
Oh, why?
believe?
Okay.
Yes, why believe this?
Because because we understood that Daniel's father was a pastor. Now, in our minds, a pastor, especially a Baptist pastor in America, has a very good reputation. They are known as very moral people. Okay. Now that's one reason. And let's see. Another reason is because I just basically believed that Daniel was a smart kid, and the way he presented himself, he said he had a business and he had this cell phone where he had all these, he called up a website and he showed all these people that he said he worked with. He showed me pictures of trucks supposedly that he had sold from CIS countries, and he said he was connected with Moscow businessmen and that he was working with government contracts. And I can confirm everything that I'm telling you in black and white on WhatsApp chats from later things. Okay, I can do this. Everything I tell you, I can confirm. Okay.
Sure.
So what I was thinking is, my gosh, this is great. We're having trouble converting our money. The exchange rate at the bank was not very favorable. He had a business. He could take our money and just switch it, and we would get a better deal for that. We were just thinking this is a great idea. Now, I want to say that my wife did not think this, but I did. And so I didn't listen to my wife, so that was wrong. I just don't want to drag her along to make you think we both actually agreed. We both did not. Anyway, the reason I trusted him is I saw that he was a Christian, that he was a leader in Russia, that his son seemed intelligent, smart. They were established people. And they had a farm. I mean, I had every reason to believe. I didn't have any
Yeah,
reason.
I understand you.
Yeah, okay.
Not to believe him. He had, if I may add, it seemed that he had authoritative position. Therefore, you should be able to trust a person of that stature. Okay? That was a lot of what convinced Leo. Me, I said, we don't know him. We don't know if he's truly a pastor. They say he's a pastor. Well, a Duma member said he was a pastor, and an immigration team said he was a pastor. So he must be, if that's what they're all saying.
The people to help us,
However,
all the people who were there to help us, gave this guy a Duma member. This is like a congressman, okay?
and then those guys, there were two guys that Vitali brought to the farm also. Who one of them? Do you remember those two?
Anton.
Vitali number two.
No. That was
another authoritative.
There was
member.
another politician that Vitali brought, and there was another guy named Vitali. Were they all named Vitali? But anyway, he brought some people. We thought he was well connected. We thought these people were safe people. This is what we were tricked.
There was another there were two other gentlemen. There were two times.
Okay. I understand. I understand the story. One question about this time when you gave him money. What Daniel told you? What is this business? What is this project? When what you gave the money, or what was the project? What's the name?
Well, the thing is, he didn't give me a name. All he said was, I am the financial officer, the chief financial officer of my business, my company. I have partners, and he showed me his cell phone like this, and he was showing me and scrolling through saying, this is somebody I work with. And then he showed me this one man behind a desk who looked a little older, and I didn't understand the Russian, but he kind of thought that this was a very important person. Later on, talking with somebody else who knew something about their activities in the past, their scamming activities, mentioned that there was a retired Russian general mixed up with them. I have not gotten his name yet.
And tell me, please.
He convinced me by showing me pictures and lying and yeah.
And what he had convinced Leo of was that he was going to use our money to purchase vehicles from, what was it, China, and then he would bring them to Russia and then sell them here for a better price.
Short-term
investments.
That's it, short term. And we told him we're going to need to buy a house shortly. How about you hold on to the money while we try to figure out what we're doing and handle our immigration issues? And he said, oh yeah, that's great. But it's a funny thing. He tried to take every single penny we had, but we said, no, let us keep 1 million rubles to survive on. This guy was hungry.
Tell me, please, I saw the document where you wrote that you will give the 5 millions, and there is the time for 3 months. 3 months, yes. Right?
It's supposed to be one.
After
quarter. 3
months, he need to back. Yes. And please, why did he? Why does he didn't it?
Okay, this is
a question.
We don't really know why, but at first, see, it took me a while to discover that he was a thief, because I just given him $50,000, and I wasn't quick in my mind to think I'd made a mistake. But of course, my wife had much more true feelings. But he sent me some. He sent me some. He said, "Okay, we're coming to the end of our agreement." And so let's have a new agreement. And then I said, well, hold on to it. Just keep it for now. And then Chantel and I talked about it. And then I had to tell him later. Now this would be, then what would happen is he would say, oh, I can't meet with you this week. And he kept on kind of delaying things. And it seemed so natural and so friendly, but then at one point we talked, I said, Daniel, we need the money back according to the agreement. We need it back right now to buy a place. And he said, oh, well, I gave you such a good interest rate. So now I've taken your money and put it into a long-term real estate project. Then he told me it will sell probably in
June or
July.
June or July.
Okay. So I'm going, what? And so then what I did is I started to think, I didn't understand that he was a complete liar. I thought maybe he just got into trouble. So I was giving him a lot of benefit of the doubt. Okay, a lot of benefit of the doubt. So I said, look, I need to have some of it back. And then I was kind of trying to talk to him about things. And then he concocted an idea that instead of he said he couldn't give me the money back. And I told Chantel this. And then he said, well, here, have a new agreement where I'm going to keep your money. And then at this point, when the object sells, the thing I invested in, then I'll give you back money according to some kind of like a plan having to do with precious metals or something like this. But see, then I said, I started really to suspect that he'd tricked us. And so I had to play along with him so I could get him to give me some money. I had to actually, so some of the thing, now he'll pull out his WhatsApp and say, oh, look, see, he was agreeing with me. But see, I was trying to trick him into giving me some money. I was playing along with him, okay, a little bit.
Yeah, when you realize that your money is in somebody else's hands and they don't want to give it back to you, you try to figure out, well, how can I do something to get something back?
So basically,
okay, I understand. Yeah.
Okay. So it's not so exactly cut and dried how things happen, but ultimately what I did is once I got the money, I went on a project. I said the first thing I said was I sent him a written synopsis of the contract we agreed upon and asked him, is this the contract? And then I'm asking you to confirm this. On the WhatsApp, I can prove it. He said, yes, it is. And then I wrote, thank you for confirming that contract. And he didn't disavow that. The next thing I did was send another thing saying how he was in breach of that contract by not giving our money. Then, so then after that, I told him, you must return it. But see, I still thought he actually had a company at that point. I didn't realize he had nothing. So
Mhm.
a lot of what you see on the WhatsApp is me slowly coming out of a deceptive mind, deceit. I was coming out of deception slowly and
Tell me,
trying to
please.
get.
I just don't understand one moment in your contract, in your document. What can you tell me about 28% of the sum? What is it? Please,
Okay,
about this more.
what he told us was he would give us 20%, 28% per year, compounded monthly. Now, I can prove that's what he told me because that's exactly what I wrote in that document that he confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Mm-hmm.
take the
I
28%
mean,
and
yeah.
divide it by the 12 months, and it would be 2.33% per month. And if you collected each month, you get 2.33%, which is like a little over $1,000 or equivalent to $1,000 or
100,000 rubles, maybe?
100,000 rubles.
I don't know.
100,000 rubles in a month.
Okay, 100,000
Yes.
rubles.
Now,
Yes.
if we did not take the money each month, it would compound. So then the next month you would take the
Peanuts.
5 million plus the 1,000 and add another 2.33% to that each month.
Okay, and
So
now I can
it's compound.
prove this because I have actual conversations about this. So when he claims that that's not written in the original contract, I say the original contract that we could not read was fraudulent. Now, it was only later that we actually got a translation of this because we couldn't use our translators or our apps. So it was only later we realized it was a completely fraudulent representation of the actual verbal agreement we had. Now, but see, I was smart to get him to confirm the actual agreement, which he did not contest or deny. This is what the police and Domodedovo refused to do. They refused to look at this evidence. They refused to look at the actual evidence that I painstakingly spent
Ouch.
hours and days compiling. I like a lawyer. I can even send you these documents.
Yes, sure.
I'll make it makes it
Mhm.
easy for you to just read through and reference the different era. I can do this for you.
Tell me, please, is it true that every month after the January of 24th year, he gave you 1,120 rubles in a month every month? Is it true?
Never. No.
No, he never did that. What we did finally get him to at least agree with was we were saying, look, I need money
Can I
to
explain
buy a car.
Oh yeah.
I need money to buy a car. So we want to go ahead and if you cannot give us all of our money right now, we at least want to take our interest. Okay. And that was back in April that we were trying to take all of our money back. And he said, well, I can give you your interest up to now. We can work on that at the next month, which would be May. He would give us that money. Well, it didn't work out in May, and it
For
ended
some
up,
reason.
for whatever reason. But
Okay,
in
I can explain this.
June,
I can explain this.
he finally paid us for January to May, and it was 610,000.
It's like 6 million rubles.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, not 6 million.
6 million, not 6 million. I'm sorry.
1,000 rubles.
Yeah,
Equivalent
610,000.
to little over $6,000.
Okay, now
He paid us that compounded interest.
right. Now here's the thing. The way that came about was we were trying to work out a new deal because I was trying to figure out how to get my money from him. Okay. And part of that deal would be that he would give me some money and it would start the new deal. But she never agreed to any new deal. There was
said, no,
no
I'm not
signature,
agreeing to anything.
but
unless
he
there's
then
a written
tried.
contract.
I-
We have one.
Okay.
We have a written contract. I'm not doing any other agreement with him.
Okay, but see, here's the thing: is that he did not get her signature because it is shared property. I can't do if she protests as my wife, I cannot do a separate deal on shared property. So I told him this. I said, the deal that you and I were talking about is null because of her signature. There's no signature or any kind of document
There's no
anyway. But wait, don't mess up my train of thought. But then I also told him the problem is the second deal is actually not even an issue because the way he took the money was fraudulent by tricking me to thinking he had a company. So even the second deal that he says that I backed out on was completely fraudulent because the way the money was taken was fraudulent.
Everything was fraudulent.
Tell me, please, this thing that when you owe the money that you need, one moment, after 3 months, you want to take money back, right?
Yes.
And this sum must be 5 millions plus some procents, right?
The 610,000 should have been.
Yes, yes.
Oh, no.
And Daniel did not give you this money, right?
Correct.
Yes, okay. I know that Daniel, he phoned me and called that I can give this money for you, but he told me that you don't want to go to the he told me that I can give the money for you, but I want to do that only in a tribal with lawyer. I want to do it with lawyer. What do you know about it? How can you comment it?
Okay, now I'll show you what this is about. He's lying to you, first of all. He's pretending to want to give the money, but he wants to go into a court so we make a new deal so he can escape the charges of fraud from how he took the money. So it's like the woman who is raped, and then the rapist wants to take her to court and force her to marry him so he won't any longer be a rapist. Okay? Is what's going on. He is trying to force us into a new legal agreement so he can skip out on the charge of fraud. He would be much smarter to give us the money than to try to manipulate a new deal. See, we have a deal.
All he has to do is send us the money or meet us at a bank. They need to meet us at a bank and give us our money, and then it will be over for that part.
He's lying, though. And see, he understands that I'm not going to let him do a new deal because I have him. If I can get the police to actually be willing to put a criminal in jail, if I can find police that are willing to do this, then this guy, not only will he go to jail, but his father will too. They're all part of it. And then we will liquidate their assets and we will get our money. See, if he would just hand us the money, about 90% of his troubles would disappear today.
I understand.
Now,
do you know, I told with a lawyer, not your lawyer, not Daniel lawyer, just a lawyer that I searched in the internet. Your document where you write that we can give the money for Daniel is not correct from the lawyer's opinion. And with this document, do you know that you can go to the court? In the court, you will be right, not in the police, because police can make criminal details in that. But in the court, this document will be right, and maybe you will win this game. But why don't you do that? Why don't you go to the court with this document?
Because I'm not going to make a new deal with him. He will honor he claims he wants to pay us, but he now has to just honor the contract we already made. He's playing games. He is playing total games. And what he'll do, he'll want to make a new contract, and then in 2 or 3 years, he will claim bankruptcy and never have to pay us. See, I know what he's doing. I was told by a lawyer what he planned to do. Okay.
Leo,
Now, when we,
tell me please, now what sum of money you think that Daniel need to take for you? Is it 5 million or is it more?
well, there's a certain amount that he owes according to the contract, but we also want damages. But we can only right now ask him to fulfill the contract. If we want to later, we can take him to court for damages. But presently, we're asking him to fulfill his contract, period.
And we're
Now-
not going to go to.
And we're not doing it Daniel's way. We already did it Daniel's way once. We're going to do it the way that's going to give him the highest motivation to actually give us the money. And that's this way.
So you want to just 5 million with some procents, right? The sum that you want, right? Not 6, not 10 millions.
Okay, what I told him, I sent him a document, and I can send you this document too. A few months ago, I said, you need to pay us what you owe per contract, but then I put in red letters, some of this we cannot demand of you, but we think you should pay us.
He should pay
Okay,
us.
let me finish my sentence, please. So what I said, some of this you must pay us according to contract, but some of this other we think you should do also. I made that specifically clear. He went and told the press that we wanted $5 million extra per child. The fact is, I'm telling him he should give us $1 million per child and $5 million for each of us. But he's very loose with the facts, and I will prove to you. I'll send you the document. The latest document that I compiled, which I haven't sent yet, and I'll send it as soon as I can. Maybe tomorrow I'll send it. It specifically states exactly what he should pay, and this does not include the fact we've wasted thousands. Now we're getting a huge amount of money to the point because he took our money. It's cost us a lot to take trips to Moscow, to do all these things.
Rent an apartment instead of buying a house.
I mean, he has cost us so much money. So that's not
pain
even
and
it.
suffering. My kids have been tormented over this whole situation
I've not been able to fix my teeth.
because he took our money and didn't give it back. He didn't keep his contract. He screwed us up big time.
And his father
he
helped
paid-
him.
Pay for that. He's responsible. He needs to be held responsible for what he did.
Yes. Can you tell me your version? Why Daniel can't give you your money?
It's because he's a scammer. Like I was telling you, his dad has been embezzling from people for years. You know how he got I found out how he got his Zendekovo farm. It turns out that Vitali was excommunicated back in 2019 from the Moscow Baptist Union. His ministry rights were stripped from him. He quickly became a Secretary General of a United Nations based religious group called the
yes.
Russian
I heard
Evangelical
about it. Yes.
Alliance. Okay, so he still was going around with the title of Reverend, but he was not. He was excommunicated from two Baptist bodies in the Moscow area. But he was okay. Now, the way he got his farm in Zendekovo is he was part of a startup church which was not registered with the government. He had already, I think I'm not sure when he got excommunicated, but he was part of a group and they were meeting in houses, okay? And one lady came forward and said, I want to give my farm to this new church we're starting. So, but they didn't have any papers of incorporation, so they put it in Vitali's name. Then he left the church and kept the property. So the property he has in Zendekovo is an embezzled church donation.
Okay, Leo, we don't have any time.
This is what the family does. Now his son goes around. There's another guy named Yuri, and I don't know if I sent you there's a little piece of paper with a number you might try to call if you want to
Okay.
research that.
Oh, sure. Tell me, please, did you ask Daniel how can you take your money away? What is his version? Maybe.
I've asked Daniel before several times. I said, Daniel, you have taken money from me and my family. I said, what are you doing? You need to give me my money back. What are you doing? Shame on you.
Okay, I want to answer his
And-
question.
Hold
No, answer
on.
his question.
And he said, I'm working hard to get you your money back. I'm trying. I'm really trying.
He's a real
Then he
whiner.
said, I will give you some money. Just send me your account number. I said, Daniel, you know my phone number. Transfer it to Spare Bank.
Do you have
And-
the
Also
proofs? Do you have
said-
the proofs about the dialogue?
Yes,
Sure.
absolutely.
It's
Okay.
great.
And then
Absolutely.
I said, Daniel, I will meet you at the bank in Moscow and you can deposit it into my account right there. Whatever it takes. I said, I'm not going to do it on your terms, but you will do it on my terms. You will give me my money back.
In a bank where
In
we
a
won't be
bank,
robbed. Where
Publicly. I'm not coming to some office in a back alley, wherever you are. I don't know where you are. I don't trust you. You meet me at my bank. And he says, oh,
We'll
you
talk
won't-
about
you
it.
won't let me pay you back. He made those kind of comments on our chats.
Yeah.
You won't let me pay you back. I said, yeah, okay. I'm trying to make you pay me back, but I won't let you. This makes no sense to me.
Understand.
And I
sorry,
personally,
Leo, I just wanted that. Can you repeat this reason? Why don't you wanna to fix this problem? Yes, in a court all together. You, Daniel, and all the lawyers in a court. Why don't you want to do that? Please tell me. Just for my just I understand that.
okay, this is why. We have a contract that he must now fulfill. We don't need a new contract. So he's saying, he's trying to force us into a situation where he can get a judge to force me to legitimize a new contract with him. I was saying to you before, a woman gets raped and then the rapist makes her go to court. So she is forced to marry him so he won't be a rapist anymore. This is what he's trying to do. He's trying to get out of the charge of fraud. So that's what he's doing. That's why I'm not, it's not that I don't want to fix the problem. It's that he's not paying us our money. That's the problem. And I've told him I've asked him, I'll even show you the proof. I'll show you WhatsApp chats, anything you ask for, I can prove everything I'm saying. How will you pay our money? Tell us what you're going to do. I've done this multiple times. I've sent him many letters. He is a bald-faced liar, and he's getting away with it because he has the police's support. He's got people who just don't understand how evil these Vlasenkos are.
Let me ask
These
you
are
a question.
scammers for over a decade, I'm sure.
Let me ask you a question. What does Daniel say about how he took our money? Did he tell you that it was for a business and for investments? And has he proven any of it?
Well,
Of course not. Of course.
what can I tell you? When I asked Daniel, can you please tell me what's the business that you that him give your money? And he told me that, oh, sorry, I can't say.
It's
I can say
confidential.
something. Yes,
It's government.
yes,
it's government.
Yes.
See,
So
he's a liar and a deceiver, and we can prove every single thing we say. However,
Absolutely.
he's not. So why? Why did we give him the money? Why would we give a complete stranger our money to borrow?
Did
Did he borrow our money and now he won't pay it back? Is that what he says?
Yes.
well, he says to some
Because
people, yeah.
It was supposed to be a short-term investment. In fact, he said, we will do 1 quarter and then we will rediscuss it. If you still aren't ready to buy a home, we'll do another quarter. We'll do it quarter by quarter. We'll sign new contracts. We will sign new
I'm sorry,
contracts.
we have Mhm.
Okay. Now, here's the thing. My plan is I'm not exactly want to tell you everything, okay? Because
Okay.
I do have a plan. However, the best plan is what I have suggested to Daniel, and I will forward you these messages so you can see them. I basically tell him, almost every month I'll give him a statement of how much he owes us. I tell him what I'm thinking about some things, and I also suggest to him he should turn himself in, surrender himself to the police, and confess all his crimes of embezzlement. And I do this every time because I really believe he should do that. What's really best for Daniel is to stop lying and start to become an honest person and start the process of rehabilitating his life. Because right now he is a criminal. It's just he hasn't been put in jail yet. Now, so in a sense, I wish him to become a good person. But I want my money back, and I tell him every month I want my money back. And I tell him why, and I tell him how much more he owes me since he has not given my money back. Okay.
And
So my
what did he answer for your questions? Where is my money? What did he answer for you?
he says different things, but he sent me some letter where he was trying to describe that it was a loan. Okay, so he's actually contradicted the very thing that he took our money for. See, that's proof of fraud right there. So he's already, I mean, now I already have these contradictions in the chats, but now I've got it from his own hand, sent in a registered letter. So he's up shit creek without a paddle, as we say in Texas.
Okay.
Shit creek.
Yes. Do you
So
know? He told me that he's afraid that in that time when he will give you your money back, it won't be some.
Backlash?
just a second. Let him finish.
Yeah, I can.
You're
He
thinking of
afraid.
conclusion.
He told me that I can give them money back, but the problem is that I wanna that something will see that in the future you can tell him like, oh, you didn't give us money. He just afraid that there is no something proves that he will give your money.
I
Don't
just want a
react.
small little. That's a foolish statement. And now Leo's going to explain why.
Okay.
Mhm.
See, he's afraid of me because he has my money. Does that sound normal? I'm afraid of them because I have their money. Okay, he's trying to turn me into the perpetrator of a crime. He has my money, and it's my fault that he has my money. Do you see? He's a weasel. He's a weasel of a man. Now, let me say that what I've asked him to do is to make good on what he's doing. I've also told him he should pay us some reparations. He's cost us a lot of trouble. He's really done bad to us by taking our funds. I've told him it would be best for him to give us the money, and then and he should even turn himself into the police. That's what I've told him. So now what he's saying is, I'm afraid they will say that I didn't give him the money. Well, he has to provide a document. But see, he gave us that 610,000. He sent it to the farm by the hand of his father in an envelope with no documentation. And I told him, I said, look, you can't just hand us money with no documentation. I want to see written on that paper what that money's for. And I said, and he has refused to document the money he already gave me.
Yeah.
So I said to him, okay, if you won't document it, I will call it a gift. But you must document it, either call it a loan, either call it a business, but you must document why you gave me 610,000 rubles.
Okay, here.
And that goes for the whole thing. And I demand on every single statement, I demand documentation. He's not afraid. He's not afraid I won't take the money and give him credit for it. He's afraid of the proof that will provide showing that he took it fraudulently in the first place. That's what he's afraid of.
Yeah, excuse me.
That makes sense, doesn't it? He doesn't want documentation.
When he gave us the money through his father, a couple days later, he said, either he said or I said, I can't remember, but I said, well, what about a receipt, Daniel? You never gave us a receipt for this money. And he said, well, why don't you just write me a receipt? And I said, well, hold on. You need to write us a receipt with, and Leo stated, and I put it all in a little message on WhatsApp chat, and we've saved them all. We said, we need the name of your company,
Incorporation,
the address. We need all of these things, and then we will give you a receipt with that information on it. He refused.
And
He
I've asked him many times.
Then he said,
and I can prove
much later, this was further down the road, he finally said, well, that money was given to me, not my company. And he said, my company. We said, no, Daniel. That was an investment in your company, not a personal loan. And that's where he started to go in that direction. That's when we knew that shit was deep.
Mhm.
And what he did, he tricked us by writing the handwritten note as though it were a loan. There was no documentation of passports, no mention of a company, but we couldn't read it. And we were trusting them. We weren't sure what to do. Okay?
And I wrote a contract.
Mhm.
I wrote a contract in English stating exactly what we discussed. He said he refused to sign it because it was in English, and because you're in Russia, everything has to be in Russian writing.
Which is also a lie. That is a lie.
I said, okay. So I said, okay, then I want you to rewrite that. And he said he did. He said he rewrote it the same. And I took pictures of his passport and his ID.
Right.
I said, I'm taking your information, even though you don't have it written down. We're taking this information.
Okay, I understood you. I will send you this video. We will talk with you because I'm just in work. I need to understand. I understand your version. Thank you
sir.
so much for dialogue. Thank you so much. Of course, we will communicate in the future because I will need your help. I wish you have a nice day. Have a nice evening. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We will, of course, chat in Telegram. And
Fantastic.
yes, thank you so much. Goodbye.
Thank
Have a nice
you.
evening.
It was a pleasure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye.